I would now like to welcome to the floor Dr. Sanja Tomovska, who is partner for strategic development VC and private equity at 𝐇𝐮𝐬𝐧 with an extensive background in precision medicine and business leadership from Roche, Novartis, and Abbott Life Sciences, among others. She will be delivering a talk on the biomarkers ecosystem in Switzerland. Sanja, pleasure to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Franco, for giving me the stage. I'm quite passionate about the subject. I'm looking forward. It was amazing presentation that we had already now for 3 hours. And so I have the opportunity and the honor to present the Swiss ecosystem in the biomarkers field. Switzerland has been my home country for the last 20 years. I originally come from Macedonia, and I'm born and raised in Macedonia. I'm honored to talk about the longevity biomarkers ecosystem in Switzerland. The country is very specific, and the analytical agency has done an enormous progress in really mapping the field. So today we will have a chance to tell you the story about Switzerland and why Switzerland starts becoming a big player in the longevity industry. We'll talk about the biotech ecosystem in Switzerland. We'll talk about the biomarkers in longevity because Switzerland is coping on with a trend of developing biomarkers for longevity. We will talk about the AI ecosystem in Switzerland, which is highly remarkable, and Switzerland is leading in that space with the innovation and IP. And then we will talk a little bit about the longevity biomarkers, who are they, and what are the current practical applications that are available with some of the work of these companies. And then we'll have the conclusion. We also are going to announce another conference that is coming to in Basel, where we are going to talk again about the longevity. It's just continuing the story about developing the longevity valley in Switzerland. So, summary of the small country in terms of the size and inhabitants. We talk about 8 million Swiss, but we have in Switzerland around 700 companies in life sciences. We have 300 companies in contract research organizations. They are the people who are definitely running the clinical trials, preclinical, and there is a lot of action, and they are must-have into the life sciences world. We have already 15 longevity biomarkers companies, so the trend is growing in Switzerland. We have astonishing 500 companies working in AI. We have 250 biotech companies in Switzerland, and Switzerland is #1 in fintech. Another big point, and I just like this graph because it just simplifies everything about Switzerland. So it's a strong economic policy framework. It has been recognized. It's an international financial center. It has a mature financial industry. It has an advanced biotech sector and progressive AI tech. So if you just put all of these pillars to one another, there is certainly an ecosystem and field that can support the fast development of practical solutions for managing the longevity. We will focus now on the biotech ecosystem in Switzerland. So yes, I think it's interesting to see, and I think for majority of you, not surprising, that such a small country has a big contribution into the life sciences in general. So the Basel, it's been a center. It's also my home city, but I'm quite proud about Basel being a headquarter for Novartis and Roche, who are around in the group of 5 top pharmaceutical companies, and also has around 70 biotech companies. Then all the regions, and you can see this is really very well distributed in Switzerland. We have Zurich and all the equipped with infrastructure to have biotechnology hosting in their regions. The analytical agency was very precise, and this is we are glad to have this report. I think it is something that is state of the art which we can really say which companies are working into the longevity biomarkers. And the majority of those, and again, focused on Basel. We just talked about Skylight, who has a disruptive technology and state-of-the-art scientific team. But there are also a lot of other companies working in the biomarkers field of aging. Yes, I think you all from Jeremy, that also from Gordon and Fedor, Johnny, everybody is talking about, that the complexity of aging and the longevity really requires a very close collaboration between different pillars. So this slide here, it summarizes all the 5 critical pillars to be able to develop solutions in longevity biomarkers. So I think we have the biotech companies, and we said earlier, we have around 600 biotech, 700 biotech companies in whole Switzerland. And they are the ones who are involved in big data mining, in systems biology, and all complex solutions. So this is where the whole development work of biomarkers will happens. As the next pillar, quite important, is the Biodata registries. And here you can see several examples of this type of companies. These organizations are large-scale biomedical databases, and they collect detailed genetic and health data and samples. And that is must-have, when trying to conduct and connect the biological impact and markers with available data. We have preclinical and clinical trials. The CROs are an enormous, number as well, meaning that, they are the ones who are driving the clinical and preclinical trials. So tells that there is a lot of activities happening in Switzerland. And then we have the applications and market solution. It's another pillar for the longevity biomarker ecosystem. These are the groups and companies who are develop solution of how can bring, what's the pathway to bring some of this innovations and solution to the market. And then we have a biomarkers of aging companies who are already, well established and known into the market. So saying that, I think the common denominator and a critical one, and that's why we are going to show why Switzerland is successful into the biomarkers research generally, but also in longevity biomarkers, is that between all of these pillars, what connects them is the artificial intelligence. And therefore, this is where the story kicks in for Switzerland. Switzerland has a state of AI technology, which is, now world recognized. And I'm very proud, to hear that Switzerland is the first one in 10 top innovative economies by the World Intellectual Property Organization. And that placed Switzerland in 2021 on the first place. So that is something to be very proud of, as this index eventually shows and define the industries or economies in around 150 economies, and they really measure different indicators for the capacity and the outcome of innovation. So also Switzerland, in that sense, has been remarkably at the first place of global talent competitiveness. I mean, the talent pool that is because of the pharma, but because of the big number of biotechs, has been incredibly important for, again, for a lot of companies trying to build up their business here. A lot of funds and venture capitalists who select this because of the global talent competitiveness index. And quite remarkable is that we have 37% of all AI world-class patents are innovated in Switzerland. So the Switzerland has a high level of innovation output in proportion to the population. That's just a simple statement as it is. You could see how high into the graph we have a peer-reviewed AI publications, and in Switzerland, having Roche, very proud of having be on the top of 10 companies in terms of AI patents in Switzerland. So that gives the scale of the potential that Switzerland has and know-how. And this map is just eventually amazing. Every time I like this, the analytical agency has an incredible way of showing the world into one. And here we can say that we have in Switzerland into AI industry, have 500 AI companies that are managed in 18 categories. So the impressive part here it is of how widespread and how well integrated the AI know-how and AI mindset as well as knowledge is across 18 categories. So almost every sector in the Swiss economy and or actually in the Swiss ecosystem has been already having a part or a company that works within an AI. We as well have about 220 investors. So meaning a solid group of investors who are investing in building the AI industry in Switzerland. And we also have a non-profit and R&D centers who are part of, bringing the next level of innovation in the field of AI. So this is how the map, the mind map of the longevity biomarkers ecosystem looks like. If you go now, then since I thought, as already said, the AI it's just a clear foundation for making progress in any research in longevity biomarkers. So we can already see that there are 50 companies starting their research into longevity biomarkers, really dedicated to this type of research, with a lot of investors investing in the field and academia again, starting building more and more R&D focused research in you can see that we have a biodata registries applications, and all of these pillars that I have mentioned around has been also a part of the big longevity biomarker ecosystem. The biomarkers, and you have all spoken before to variability and the opportunity of the biomarkers and how much are they the foundation to everything what we are doing. I started with this into my own research, really working on predictability and the markers who can tell us the progression of cancer disease early enough, so that we can either treat early enough and be aware of different treatment solutions. But in this list we tried to just show the diversity and the complexity of the different types of biomarkers applications. So some of them are used to identify the increase and decrease the chance of specific disease. And I think this is something that is quite fairly straightforward and known to already some time. We have a monitoring diagnostic biomarkers that add to the diagnosis of the disease. We have a monitoring biomarkers. We have already heard here some of commercial solutions that have been based on this type of biomarker application. We have a prognostic biomarkers, biomarkers that can give an idea of increased or decreased clinical event or progression. We have predictive markers. We have as well safety biomarkers, and majority of them we can cover later on with some examples of the companies working with this specific applications. So we are talking about now the biotech into the biomarker. So we wanted to just give some information about the companies who are working on the biomarkers and highly strongly using AI applications. And Skylight, I think we have heard from Professor Vijay Tiwari, who is the behind the latest disruptive technology that Skylight is having. And it is focused on machine learning based biomarker discovery platform. They have made a great solution. They also got one of the first awards for disruptive technology in Switzerland. So a company to watch for, and we have chance to see, to hear all the scientific knowledge behind it, and the power of data and information collected for years. 𝐶𝐬𝐧 is also, another company who is having a nano-mechanical technology, also focused on personalized diagnosis and treatment strategies. Again, it is an AI-powered platform, which it means, it increases the potential of, having a quick impact and scale up. And the deep breath intelligence, it's a very interesting company that is unleashing the full potential of non-invasive breath analysis for clinical care by applying AI to mass spectrometric patterns. So these are some of, the disruptive type of technologies and biotech companies that are working in the field of longevity biomarkers. Biomarkers of aging, we've heard from everybody. I think today we have heard, why now it is important that we know much better and are able to predict and have an impact on the biological versus chronological age. I think what it matters, and I think it's very important to say that biomarkers of aging certainly are directly connected with the hallmarks of aging, and we try to have the 9 hallmarks of aging that include all of different pieces of potential genomic instability, telomere, epigenetic alteration, everything that we all know about the hallmarks of aging. And then, this was the basis for developing the biomarker of aging. So in that sense, again, here we would like to say that there are different types of biomarkers, which are based on the disease state, prediction, detection, diagnosis, prognosis. This is everything which leads us from sick care to health care and preventive medicine. Then we have biomarkers based on systemic level, which are molecular, cellular, tissue, organ, systemic. And then a big group of biomarkers based on the biomarkers origin. You're certainly familiar. We have already here some of the speakers who already have a test based on on the biomarkers origin. What also starts being important and a very big growing group is the digital biomarkers. Obviously, there would be, in my view, and we can discuss this topic a bit later on the panel discussion. I think what we are missing here, it's a very clear regulatory framework that can help to scale up and bring these products to the masses and have access to patients. So biomarkers of aging, different companies. Again, you will be surprised, and this is still to come into the field. 𝐁𝐢𝐨𝐬𝐚𝐫𝐤𝐞𝐫𝐬 is an innovative healthcare startup. And it's, again, focused with something very similar. This is what we have heard from Fedor in identifying the difference between the biological and chronological age, being able to eventually know the current status and if possible, manage it, improve it, reverse it. So I think these are all the open possibilities, and they also have an analytical algorithm that is testing multiple biomarkers. We have the Centauro with the machine learning algorithm, also, examining millions of data points with the human genome, epigenome, transcriptome, proteome, and metabolome. As in order to create an aging profile. So, and then we have a 𝐶𝐬𝐴𝐴𝐻, which is a remarkable company, one of my also a very clear disruptive technologies, who have, I mean, the company and the team has an enormous background into health tech and fintech. And starting from that type of attitude of utilizing AI, they have developed optical and AI-based technology to analyze blood, urine, and other body fluids, and for the first time, not destructively and in real time. And that is a really true innovative breakthrough. The Biodata Registries is another pillar that we have in the Swiss ecosystem for longevity. Important, yeah. I think everybody will agree here, and I would like to address this question at the panel discussion. It is, I think what is missing is the clear connection between the type of data collected, which it can need to be organized and processed with a solid algorithms and then connected also with the clinical data, data from the CROs, organic samples, and biobanks. So I think the biggest challenge, in my view, and I would like to hear also the view of the speakers, of how are we going to somehow have programs that are going to collect, accumulate, and then integrate data coming from all of these databases using AI. Big biodata registries in Switzerland, also several examples. Sophia Genetics, it is growing rapidly. It's one of the cloud-based AI-powered platform, and it is taking the space not only in Switzerland but also internationally, and does complex genomic and phenotypic, always genomic and phenotypic data sets. 𝐁𝐢𝐨𝐦𝐚𝐫𝐤𝐞𝐫𝐬 has been known as a market leader in human data science technology. They have been previously being a CRO, and they have grown as the next level of being an AI providing data collection, providing support into data collections, and an idea to enhance the precision, increase the speed and the scale. And the BioH is also a company that I'm very fond of. It is amazing that they have an enormous amount of, I think, 45,000 data of patients, of healthy patients, and they're working with partners. And we heard today the solution is to partner, to find the databases that can help to speed up the research and increase the speed up and decline the timelines to really have applicable solutions. So BioH is an AI platform that uses a vast of information to discover the molecular causes of age-related diseases. The company is working very closely, and I think this is one of the examples of BioTech owning data, stepping in and working closely with a big pharma. Let's move now to the longevity biomarkers practical applications. So practical applications, yeah, I think this is what we are talking about, and I think I'm absolutely excited to hear the summary that Dmitry is going to do in his book, because I think the book has been based on a lot of facts and research and analytic data that exists to eventually build up the story about the biomarkers and the impact that the biomarkers can have in a foundation across the longevity industry. So the practical applications of the biomarkers are quite clear. So we can use them in biomedical research for all different types of purposes, and fundamental research, therapeutic evaluation, biomarkers, efficiency evaluation, and that's related to biomarkers who already exist, so to test them if they're still applicable. We have the biomedicine application in precision medicine, advanced diagnostics, longevity therapeutics, clinical trials. And I think very important piece, and I think we are going to hear also in the summary of Dmitry's book, then application finance. I think longevity industry has been an amazing in how broad can it span, into our society and cross-sector. So the application of biomarkers in finance will be definitely another breakthrough, and not only impacting the financial instruments, but also helping de-risking investment. Has played a big portion into insurtech. In terms of prediction, not only on biological versus chronological age, but also predictions in terms of mortality and all of other, predictions that the insurtech would be very grateful to have. So AI-driven biomarker applications. So we have one, it's a core practical application, but where is the AI playing a big role? Because again, we all have to agree that AI and the biomarkers development is something that is a foundation for making an applicable practical product for managing longevity. And so in that space, we define them in 4 groups. We have the AI-driven precision biomarkers that can be multi-omic sequencing and continuous monitoring powered by big data analytics. And they can be AI-driven personalized treatment optimizations. That's what we've heard today from a majority of the speakers. There is no one solution for all. We want to have, an economically proven or imperative to have a personalized medicine so that, patients can be treated according to their needs. And there we have a big research in silico personalized treatment optimization. I think that's a big group. There are several groups working in that field. AI-driven personalized in vivo drug optimization, which is another way how we can use the AI, and treatment optimization based on patient genetic. We also have an AI-driven advanced prognostics in terms of the advanced biomarkers-based prognostics. We heard about several of those applications, and that's a field that is growing and is improving and is, I think, accelerating. And every time we got more and more information about the 150 biomarkers who are now into the field of tested for impact into the longevity. And AI-driven preventive treatment. I mean, this is something that I strongly believe in. It's going to, in my view, take some time to really generate the right frameworks and the connection between different sectors. But I think in the end, for me, would be the vision or goal. So with this, I would like to conclude on what we said today, and at least it is also my assessment to all this analytical research that I have seen. There is a clear need to define efficient frameworks, guidelines, and financial vehicles to ensure investment and access to data to support the scale up of the biotech innovation in longevity. So for me, this is really one of the objectives, and I'm quite passionate about being part of groups that are working to set this up. AI for longevity is a critical sector and driver of the industry, and AI can achieve tremendous results and accelerate timelines for tangible, scalable, real-time, healthy human longevity. We cannot do anything with AI as it stands. We can just learn how to really utilize it. Longevity biomarkers will create impact on financial instruments for business investment, risk prediction, and insurtech. And when people, and this is really coming from the Aging Analytical Agency member, which I liked it. It's a quote to say, when people live healthier, longer lives, the aging workforce has the opportunity to boost the economic productivity and maximize longevity dividend. And I think this longevity dividend is individual because everyone's health is a wealth, but it definitely has a big impact on the economy. And so I think what we learned today, and we will hear it even more at the discussion that Dmitry will bring to the story of his book in Biomarkers of Longevity, many technologies and methods for extending healthy human longevity, practicing preventive medicine, maintaining the optimal state of precision health are already invented. Even today, we heard how much of this is existing. There is a much of that existing in Switzerland. They are validated, they are ready to use. However, I think the biggest problem that will have to be addressed is the infrastructure to scale them up to the masses and ensure access. So as a last, I would like to say that we are not going to stop there. So since I had this great opportunity to present, the development of longevity biomarkers in Switzerland, I think we are continuing with cheering another longevity meets Basel event that in this sense is being conducted by the Weizmann Institute of Israel, or Biomarker. It's the business network of the Weizmann Institute. I'm a board member of that group, and so we would have a special event eventually composed of high academic research that Weizmann is doing in the longevity field. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sanja. Incredibly stimulating and dense stuff. Thank you so much also for your kind words with regards to analytics. And I'm personally looking very much forward to that longevity in Basel meetup in November, indeed.